What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Talk podcast, but we are back. It's not a full week because we are on a short week. We were here Sunday. Now we here Thursday for a primetime matchup. And it still kind of sucks in my eyes that you got to watch this on Prime. Like, come on, man. Why can't we have regular cable, blah, 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 blah. But we here to talk about the Eagles Texans Battlebird podcast. We are all three of us on time, kind of, sort of. Gate, what's going on with you?
Not much, man. Hanging in there, bro. Short week, man. Not a lot of time to really break down, analyze anything, and then it's like you got to make that adjustment quick on these weeks. But at least we got that. We'll get that 10-day period or so to where we get that, kind of that mini bye.
Yo, that man. You know who it is. You know what it is, man. Your boy Philly Fresh, aka the General. Also, man, a part of the Eagles who are about to go 8-0 for the first time in franchise history, man. Shout out to the Eagles, everything that they doing, man. Like you said, it wasn't enough real time to break down tape because by the time you break down old tape, you got to break down new tape and what this guy Mills is going to bring to the table and all sorts of stuff. But man, and then you got the highs and lows. Sorry, yo. Then you got the highs and lows of Jordan Davis getting hurt. That's a hurt piece, and him being on IR for who knows how long, 6 to 8 weeks. So you got your highs and lows here, being 8-0, but also losing a player that is very conducive to the run, and it's not like we're like top notch in the run anyway. So without him, I'm scared that we're going to take another dip, going from 15 or whatever. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully Milton Williams and Tulupalu. I can never say his name right. Sue me, sorry. But Tulupalu, hopefully those kind of guys, such as Kyle Hargrave, those kind of guys stand up and help be that guy that Jordan Davis was. Because it's going to take more than one person to be what Jordan Davis was, because Jordan Davis literally looks like two people. So when you look at the situation, the way he clogs up the hole, he takes up two spots, like literally. He takes up either you call it the A, B, and B gap or the 1 and 2 gap, whatever you call it. He takes up two of those gaps just by his size. So that's something that we're going to have to look at, especially today. You got this guy Pierce coming in, he ain't no slouch. So we got to see if the Eagles can stop the run there.
Yeah, I think that when you look at everything, our trajectory after that Lions game when we were really down, we started climbing ourselves up, and we're climbing ourselves way back out there. 15th we rank right now in stopping the run, and I think that's how the Texans got to attack us. They haven't had the luxury of sticking with the run in their games, being 1-5-1. They've been behind a lot, and that's what we've been able to do to our teams, put them away in the second quarter and make them start to pass the ball. Teams like Dallas, teams like the Lions stay with the run. They came back a little bit, but I don't see it this way. This is a Texans team that allows 300 yards against the Tennessee Titans. I believe Sanders is a top 5 back. He kind of fell out that in rushing because of the bye week, but it will all figure out. He looks to be over 1,200 if he just duplicates what he does in the first 7 games in the second 10 games. I think it's a big dose for the running backs. I see the Eagles rushing for over 250 in this game. Not to say that Jalen won't throw the ball to eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a receiver in the hands, not the toe. You know what I mean? But I definitely think the run game is going to be a staple of this short week offense.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Texans play us in return because, like I said, I didn't have really time to break down film and break down a lot of the analytics. I really didn't do content until tonight. So I was, ready to talk with you guys. But the one thing I do know is that Davis Mills, he's a dude that's going to throw it short of the sticks. If you guys ever take the time to look at something like air yards to the sticks, which is something that's measured by Next Gen Stats. So it's a free, analytic you can look at. Well, the next step is to go to something like Football Outsiders, and you can look at Alex, which is air yards to the stick as it pertains to third downs. He's 27th. He throws it short. They're without receivers this game. The last time we played a quarterback that, was pretty obvious that they like to check the ball down on third down, he tried to force the issue in Kirk Cousins, and that did not work out well for Minnesota's offense at all. So, this is a game to where, I expect them to run the ball 30 times. I really do. I think they would be incredibly foolish to try to attack this team through the air right now. I'm wondering, Mike and Reese, I think both you guys kind of brought this up, but I am wondering how our run defense is going to stack up against this, because we got guys that can play. We got guys we paid a lot of money to, and I thought Javon Hargrave came on a little bit last game. Got to be consistent. You know what I mean? Like, can you do it 2 games in a row? Because we definitely need someone like Marley Tui Pelotu, Javon Hargrave, Fletch. We need those dudes to step up, man. Yeah, those guys got to step up, man. Tui.
That's what I call him. But yeah, Gates and Mike, y'all absolutely right. I mean, when you look at our side, I knew it was going to be brought up, but I wasn't bringing up our side because I know what we do on the offensive side, especially when it comes to running the ball. I know we're 5th, but it just seemed like it's a high 5th. You know what I mean? Like, we 5th. I got to see the rest of these running attacks and break down their running attacks. But when you look at the situation of the Eagles, and yes, somebody's going to have to step up. And to me, the linebackers are going to have to get more physical also. You're probably going to see more run blitzes to stop the run. You asked for this last week. I think it was you, Gates. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just the unlocking of Kaiser White. You know what I mean? Just let him go. And maybe that could be the answer. You know what I mean? It's just not going to be a lot of tackles for loss, but there are going to be met at the goal line or 1 or 2 yard gains or those kind of things. But you're going to miss the dominant force of a guy like Jordan Davis just getting into the backfield. Nobody I've literally seen this man just push people off and with one arm, like he's not the kid. He's the kid out there. But he's treating this and he's the mouse at Chuck E. Cheese, just more kids. You know what I mean? So when you look at what Jordan Davis brought to the table and what we're going to lose for a significant 2-3 months or whatever the case may be, I mean, it's significant, and we can't look past that. But all else aspects of your defense, not saying that the running game is not potent, but when you put together the way we attacked in the first quarter, the first half, I mean, offensive wise, it's not really a lot of opportunities for you to really run the ball. I mean, Mike said this last week. The only people that really stuck with it was Dallas, and that's when they mounted a little comeback. But then again, it's bombs over Baghdad on you again. So then, as time goes by, you're not going to be able to run the football. You know what I mean? You're going to have to throw it. And that's when this young kid is going to get in trouble. Throw it against the best secondary in the NFL. Yes, I'm saying I don't care who. When I look at this secondary, man, like, they scary. And I just think and I know you stuck up for him, Gates. I know you stuck up for him last pregame. But like, I just think that Marcus Epps is just the piece that is just humble. He's the humble piece. He's not bad, but he's just not a ball hawk. Like, even like he dropped a couple interceptions last week.
And I thought he had one, man. I thought he had one. I think he's gonna make my prediction right.
I immediately thought of you, Gates, when he dropped. I was about to tweet. I'm like, nah, I ain't even gonna tweet. But I immediately thought of you. I'm like, this is what I mean. He's not a ball hawk. He's a good player. But if you can find a ball hawk for him, I'm not saying get rid of him, but I'm saying to come in and out. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can still use him.
Think about it. Think about it. You know, and today we got a good tandem in the ball hawk being CJ Gardner-Johnson and the enforcer that Gate kind of really elaborated to. That's what he's like in his game, being Marcus Epps. He's being the guy that is not afraid to lay the lumber. He'll lay out there. He might not lay out there to get the pick, but he'll lay out there to put you on your backside. And so I think that when you combine them two, they've made a really good team together. I was with you. I told Dave Spadera, I was like, he's the lone guy without a pick, and it went right through his hands. Next time he'll grab it. But he's been more of the enforcer coming up. He's not afraid to lay the lumber against the run, and he's been pretty good. And he got a couple PBUs for sure. So I think that's where Gate was going with that. But real quick before we get to Gate, Jung Money with the $2 super chat, and this is an interesting question, not really for tonight, history making, which it is. This will be the first Eagles team ever in franchise history to go 8-0. We've never won 8 games and 0 losses in it. We never started 8-0 in a season ever. The Super Bowl team, some of the great McNabb teams, Cunningham, Jaws, never, ever, ever. First time tonight if we get the dub. But Young Money says if we lock up number 1 and there's 2 games left, do you sit the starters or go for undefeated?
Oh, man. I got to be real. If it's 2 games out, I'm still playing my starters. If it's 1 game out, that's a difficult decision, man.
It's a and the last game will be the Giants. The last game will be against the Giants, too.
Yeah, that's a difficult decision.
I probably play a half in both because I don't want my team to get rusty. That's number 1. But you don't want to subject anybody to injury. But sometimes that's just the way it is. Like, I would have them playing a half, man, up or down or whatever the case may be. I would treat it kind of like a preseason game. So that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's worried about
such a risk, man.
We're in that position to where though we're undefeated. Yeah. Oh man, like I don't know if I will put my players. If I'm the coach, I don't know if I'll put my as a fan. I'm like play them. You know, if we're going undefeated, but as a coach,
that's what he's asking. He's saying if we're sitting at 15-0, week 16 or week 17. And remember, mind you, it's 18 weeks minus the bye, so we're going to have 17 games.
17,
so week 16 play, week 17, would you do it? Real quick, let me give you my take. I don't even know. I would have to be in that moment. Being an undefeated team means you're most likely, well, you're guaranteed to be the number 1 seed, so you get the bye week. So you're already going to have 1 week where you're off, where rust can kick in. You don't play into the divisional round. So if you do sit your guy week 16, so now you're sitting week 16, you're sitting week 17, and you're going to sit the first round of the bye. You're sitting 2 games. So I don't know if I would do that. I would want them to play, but I would be so nervous that a team like the Giants, who they might be a little bit more respectable with the new organization. I still don't put anything past them, seeing us as undefeated team, knowing we are the guys to try to lay some lumber on purpose and take us out, especially if the Giants are fighting for a playoff spot and know they can see us in a week or 2. I would have to be in the moment. As a fan, I would say, let's tag on the undefeated season. But again, I don't want to be undefeated and lose a Super Bowl. That's my main goal, is to get and win the Super Bowl. So it'd be tough. It'd be a moment decision for me.
It's a tough decision because on one hand, I'm really tired of some of our division rivals here beating their chest about beating dudes that are on the practice squad or not even on this team anymore. So the fan of me wants you to punish any of these division rivals. Don't even give them any of this talk in the offseason. Talking about we were the only team that beat you all. Okay. Like, so there is a part of me that's like, hell no, like, go for it. You beat them in the ground. But then it's like, you mess around and you lose a key piece over something that probably doesn't have that much meaning. It's tough, man. It's definitely tough, man. I kind of agree with Reese. I don't think I would sit dudes for an entire game, because if you're chasing undefeated status, that means you clearly you got that bye and you got home field advantage. So you do have to be mindful of, like, you don't want to be in a situation where you're trying to knock off too much rust into a game situation, a game scenario. I mean, I guess the only thing you could really hope for in that situation is that the Giants are also in a situation to where it would be beneficial for them to rest their starters and to prepare themselves for the playoffs. That would be the most ideal situation in that particular thing. But man, that's why this is like such an important season, because one loss makes this division really, really close. I mean, everything gets really, really muddy if there's one single loss that goes on here. So it's like, yeah, man. I mean, current situation, the Vikings are sitting there only with 1 loss on their resume, so you're still fighting for home field advantage. Dallas is still sitting with 2 losses. The Giants are sitting with 2 losses. You almost have to go for it. I mean, the circumstances almost make you go for it.
Yeah. And real quick, just to tie it into a bow before we finish that and go back to the Texans, Duncan Wright with the $5 super chat, he said he would kind of wish to lose a game or two, a couple games. Being undefeated would be a lot of pressure for the playoffs. What do you guys think? Real quick, my take is similar in the sense of, look, I will never root for the Eagles to lose any regular season game. But if we do lose to a team, well, then you're going to learn something. Okay, this is what really beat us. This is what we had trouble with, whether it was our offense against their defense, whether it was their defense versus our offense, either or we struggle with this, so you can emphasize that. If you go into it, with never really having something that you feel like you couldn't overcome, then what if it hits you in the playoffs? At the end of the day, there's pressure on these players all the time. A loss in the playoffs is going to hurt the same if we're undefeated or if we have 2 losses. I understand what Duncan Wright's saying, but week 8 through week 17, I'll never say, "Dang man, we're winning too much. Let me lose a game or two." But I understand your method of your madness, but I can never root for a loss. I'm trying to get them all.
I feel good about this team, honestly, at home in the playoffs. I just think that this team is different at home. I mean, it's a tough team to beat at home. It just is.
That crowd.
not to beat our chest, but like the crowd does have something to do with that. Like the home, not every team, as we're seeing. I see everybody's comments in the comment section. Not every home team has a home atmosphere. Let's just be real. I mean, Washington is like our home away from home. You know what I mean? Like,
so was LA. So was North Carolina.
So was Arizona. Remember that when we kicked that field goal, Arizona erupted. And right now, I don't know if it's going to be a home game in Texas, but don't look like it's going to be a lot of fans out there either.
I mean, it might be, and then you also got the World Series and all that going on too. So that's in Houston. That's going to be in Houston over the weekend. So they might have took that trip. I know a couple people that said that they was going to take that trip, but then everything got mixed up with the rain. So I don't know if they still did. But to answer the question, Mike, if this team was different, I would not agree with it. Like, you don't want your team to lose, but I could see where you're coming from. Every week, these guys win, and all you hear from the best players is, we ain't played a full game yet. True. We got to get better. We got to do this. We got to do. These dudes are already on point. I don't think a loss. Now a loss is humbling, but I don't think these guys are just out there bloviating things. You got AJ Brown with the pointing the fingers and all that. All right, that's cool. That wide receivers, that's what they do. And to Patrick and them was probably talking crazy anyway, because up to that point, he really, even though he had a touchdown, really only had 2 catches. Yeah. Up to that point. You know what I mean? I mean, he had 6 catches the whole game, but he only really had 2 catches. So they probably was talking crazy to him. And they probably deserve those fingers getting pointed. I say that to say this.
He said, "You didn't stop me. You didn't stop me."
Yeah, like I'm big dog around. Yo, the way they bounced off of him though, that was funnier to me than a finger wave. Like they literally bounced off of him like they wasn't human beings. Like anyway, man, this dude, he need a new name, like Husky Batman, something like. This dude is unreal. He's really unreal. Unreal, man. Like we finally have a wide receiver that when you turn on ESPN and you turn on Red Zone, you see him making these immaculate plays years ago, and people be like, "Yo, you see the play out?" And now we have these guys to do that, man. And not only that, you got the leadership. You still got Brandon Graham, the humble people. You still got the guys like Jason Kelsey, and the leader of the team. I don't know what it takes for this dude to smile, but like Jalen Hurts just never smiles. It just seems like being from what he has been through, you can't get humbled enough. You can't be humbled enough for him. Like to me, I think he's humbled. Even if when he does win a championship, I think he's still going to be humble. This kid has been through a lot, been benched, had to go to another team. You know what I mean? Came here, had to fight to get the starting job. And now he has it. To me, when you come from nothing and you make it up there, it's so much better. And you get to reap the benefits so much better than somebody just giving you something. Yeah, because you've been this guy all your life and all that. No, this dude had to fight, and he understands. And I think that even if you looking at trying to get a loss, I don't think that's going to humble them enough because I think they're already humble. Go ahead.
I got 2 thoughts on that. My number 1 thought is maybe we should stop calling AJ Brown Batman, and maybe he should be just Bruce Banner. You won't like me when I'm angry.
Yeah. I'm glad he's on our team, and I'm not saying it's just because he's on our team, but yes, I have watched film. I had when we first got him, watched film highlights, breakdown. To me, it looked like now I don't. It might be the quarterback is better or playing better than Tannehill has ever played, but this dude AJ Brown looks better than he did in Tennessee, man.
It's the prime years. This is prime years.
I try to warn people this was coming, man. When I
Look.
watched this film and I looked over what I thought the Eagles needed, I said, "Oh, there has never been a better match than player for team." He fit everything we were looking for. And look, did I want Deebo Samuel? Come on, man. You kidding me? Absolutely. Just because Deebo Samuel is different. He's a weird type of player. Like, it's hard to categorize what Deebo Samuel is other than just say he's a playmaker. But when I looked at AJ Brown, I thought to myself, like, this is not like a 6'3", 6'4" boundary side receiver, but this dude plays like he is. He plays like he's 6'3", 6'4". Like, he has that kind of ability, and he's got some shift to him. He's got some wiggle. I mean, the dude can really play from the slot. Like, he's dominant. And, like, to speak on Jalen Hurts real quick, I can see Jalen Hurts. I'm not even joking. I can see Jalen Hurts hoisting the Lombardi Trophy, going to the press conference and saying, yeah, man, we're happy to win the Super Bowl, but I got to be honest, we got a lot of work to do in the offseason. Like, that's the type of kid he is. Like, that's what he is as a young man. Like, that's who he is. Is like, yo, it's not enough. We got
it's not over. It's not over.
Yeah,
the work is not done. Like,
yeah, and so that's credit to everything he's been through, as you said, and the grind, and he's getting results. Results have happened each stage of his career. Just going back to the AJ Brown thing, he's playing his best football. I said it from day one in the live stream when I have like a little short video of me saying it too. And in the live stream where we got the trade, a wide receiver's prime is 25, 26, 27, 28. We got him at 24, turning 25, 26, 27, 28. He was only going to be better. So what we saw in Tennessee was not who he is. It's what he already's done. And there's more to become. And he's doing that right here in front of us. He's on pace to get about 1,600 yards. He's having his best season along with Jalen having his best season. So it's going hand to hand. Now, when I look at this team altogether, before we get back to the Texans, because we can't be sleeping on them. You know what I mean? They're all the Texans, but we can't sleep on no team, and the team knows that. Us as a fan base, we are allowed to sleep a little bit because we're not out there playing. All that being said, in the playoffs, as somebody mentioned in the chat, in the playoffs, you win or go home. So you got to go undefeated, whether it's the wild card division, NFC championship, and Super Bowl, whether it's 4 games in a row or 3 games in a row, you got to go undefeated. So it's good practice to stay undefeated. My thing is I can never, ever look at this team and say we need to lose a game. I understand what losing can do to a team to humble them. But as we all spoke about, this team is as humble as can be. And before Philly Fresh goes to sleep, looking at the Texans, do you guys all agree that the run game is what the thing that we should be concerned on? And the thing that if the Texans come out any type of hot, which I'm not saying they will, it would be through Damon Pierce and the run game. I have no fear of Davis Mills going against his top 5 secondary. Well, top 5 secondary in the sense of we allow the 5th least yards or most yards.
Yeah, I want Reese to speak on this because I know Reese got that connection when it comes to playing the running back position. But I do remember that Reese and I we were both pretty high on Damon Pierce coming out of college, out of Florida. And I thought he was very underutilized at Florida. And I thought, like, man, this is a young man that might have a real future in the NFL. And that's probably one of the only players I look across the other side of the Texans offense and go, yeah, that's a dude we got to keep an eye on. But go ahead, Reese. I'll let you talk a little bit about the running game.
I mean, we talked about it earlier. This guy Pierce can do down there at all. He can catch out the backfield. He can use his power in between the tackles. He can go around. He can go around the tackles. This is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to accept the ball. They're going to have to try to grind it out. They're going to have to try to go 80 yards and scoring a touchdown with running, especially with Cooks not wanting to be there, not wanting to play. It seems like. And now they're saying he got family issues or whatever the case may be. He's not playing. Bottom line, he's not playing. And obviously that's your best weapon, and that's not really saying too much. I'm not trying to be down on Cooks, but you see all the talent in the NFL at the wide receiver spot, and at one point he was top 10, and he's not that anymore. So when you look at the secondary, it's just like what are you going like? Who do you think going to get open? What do you
They
think is
gotta
going to
run it.
happen?
They gotta
You
run
don't
it.
have no choice. You don't have no choice, and this is where I don't think the Eagles, because you just got too much firepower. I don't think the Eagles will be in trouble. But here's what I don't want to happen. I don't want tape being put on for other teams of how to beat us. You get what I'm saying? Because there is other teams that have firepower, and
Yeah.
if they get the tape, it could be trouble if you can't stop this run. Now, I like I said, I like Pierce a lot, and I feel as though this kid can be a 1,000-yard runner. I get it, I understand it, but you got to make a statement tonight. Not only because of what I just said, you don't want the tape to be out there, but this is prime time. This is prime time. Like everybody's watching. It's not like it's other games, and I understand the World Series is going to be on, but it's not like it's other games and people can choose what game they want to. No, this is the only game on tonight. So everybody's going to be tuned in, and they're going to be looking for things to say that you are not the number one team in the NFL, and that could be one of them. If they don't fix it, they gotta figure out a way, because every single 2 weeks we have been going down, and it's not by accident. I think we started off at what, like 7, then it went to 9, then it went to 12. Now we at 15 at stopping a run. That has to stop. That has to go back up. You got to find a way. You got to stop this kid. You do, because if you don't, you're gonna have the rest of you're gonna have guys like Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, Pollard, who else we play? Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? Look at their chops. Like, oh, he did that to y'all. My turn. So
Well,
we got to make sure that we put an end to this run. Go ahead.
yeah, and that's where, some of our games where we were able to stop the run. Now, credit the Eagles defense for stifling Dalvin Cook in that week 2 matchup on his certain attempts. But there was a reason why Dalvin Cook didn't get going in the second half, or didn't have a chance to get going, is because the lead we built up. So the Eagles have been, kind of hiding their true problem in stopping the run, because we haven't had to face a team that's running the ball 25, 30 times on us, because we've been up and we've been forcing them out of it. So, I would like this coaching staff, who did a pretty good job in the bye week, on understanding them third quarter rows and executing that. We saw some second half offense last week. The next thing is Jonathan Gannon got to get into the lab and really fix this run defense. No Jordan Davis for 4 to 6 weeks. That got to be your biggest thing to address, because if the offense one time does not have that big lead, now we're going to face the run game for 4 quarters, not a quarter and a half or 2 quarters. But real quick, the Backyard Bird podcast, $2 super chat. AJ is the Incredible Hulk. That's definitely a name you could throw his way for sure. I mean, mean green running machine for real. Jose Serrano with the $2 super chat. Hurts haters are full of crow. They had to eat a lot of that. Listen, not only the hate for Jalen Hurts was definitely out there, and there's still hate for Jalen Hurts for some strange reason, but let's not just stop there. I said on Twitter that the tweet went off a little bit. This is a Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts team, second year in, with a chance to break the franchise record and wins in a row, 8-0 streak. Mind you, when we first got Nick Sirianni, there was a lot of people rocking his boat. The whole, he's not running the ball, he don't know how to talk at press conference. Now, we came around on Nick Sirianni. Well, most of the fan base came around on Sirianni before they did the Hurts. But the Hurts had his true group, and it's grown game after game after game. But there's still guys out there trying to, against Dallas, he only threw for 155. Against this, shut up.
You know what's crazy, Mike, is that no one wants to talk about this. But you want to knock teams out of running the ball on you? Do what you did last week. When you come out in the third quarter, put points up. You put points up in the third quarter against Dallas, guess what? You can't sit there and try to run the ball and get yourself back in it that way. It's too much pressure on your offense. And now you have to go out there and you get what I'm saying? Like, you got to go out there and you got to really score on them. You can't exchange 7-8 minutes of the clock for a touchdown. It's not going to work against the numbers that way. That's what they have to do, in my opinion, man, because we're absolutely gathering 2 to 3 possession leads by the end of half. I think you just got to, they got to learn as a coaching staff and as a team to firmly put your foot down on the neck of opponents in that third quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, especially when you get past the first drive of the fourth quarter, when you're getting into that mid part to late part of the fourth quarter, then you can really just say, hey, Kelsey, knock everybody down. we're gonna do that little sweet play you love to do. Just go out there and hit linebackers all day. Like, you know, that's what he loves to do.
I mean, yeah, and to speak on what you just said, I'm speaking on Jalen Hurts real fast. Like, let's not act like we're not going against the 31st rushing defense in the league. Like, so, I mean, wow, like you can just have I'm not saying
32nd, the dead last.
Oh, they are dead last? I thought they was 31st. Yeah. Excuse me. Well,
you
push it back one more.
Prop him up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Push him back one more. I mean, and then with this running attack, it's like, wow. Like, I think this offensive line they're probably looking at tape and saying, "This is being done on them." Could you imagine what, like you said, Jason Kelsey up in the second level? Like, man, he gonna have a ball today. Real fast, but on Jalen Hurts is the fact of the matter is people were saying this and people were saying that, but Jalen Hurts has been winning. He has been winning since last year. I mean, when you go from last year to this year, this man is 10, about to be 11-1, and the only loss that he had was against the defending Super Bowl champions. That was it
in the playoffs. So it wasn't even.
Yeah, the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. That's the only loss he had in the last 11 games, and then he about to probably go another one, and another one, and DJ Khaled another one. So when you look at it, man, all this guy does is win. So people can say what they want. They can say he had a noodle arm. They can say he doesn't read defenses. I don't want to hear it. But real fast, we have not talked about it. But Gates, I got to get your opinion, Mike. I definitely want yours in the chat. I definitely want yours. Shane Steichen and Nick Sirianni has changed the game to me. If you have the right quarterback to do what they're doing, it's hard. How can you defend some of the plays that they have made and they have adjusted and not have they just made and adjusted? They have made them look like 3 different plays by doing the same exact thing. The RPOs, run pass options, is damn near unstoppable right now. Now, you have to have the right quarterback to do these things now, and we have that. But when you look at what these guys have been cooking up, especially just last week, some of those plays, man, was immaculate when you actually get to dive deep down into it, and then the fake, the touchdown, the Zach Pascal wasn't just blown coverage. It was screen. They thought a screen was coming because everything was set up for Dallas Goedert to have another screen who was killing them. But yet and still, you have a guy zipping up the middle of the field. And this is the things that Jalen Hurts is recognizing because they're teaching him that your first read might not be open. Your second and third read might be the one wide the hell open. And you can make it that with your eyes and just the hitch. If you get like Gates, you got to probably explain. Just the hitch of acting like you're throwing it to that guy can make a safety just move. Once he moves, it's over. Yeah. So you can't get back in place. Mm-hmm. And they're doing this. They are reading the safeties and the linebackers. They're reading the safeties.
They learned from Tampa Bay.
Okay.
When in the playoffs, when Tampa put that stuff on film about loading the box against us, I think Nick Steichen and Jalen went to work about how do we take this, make teams commit to this, and destroy them for doing it. And a lot of teams have tried to copy that blueprint. You know, Arizona tried to come at him like that. You know, Detroit tried to come at him like that. Like, teams have definitely come after us playing, you know, basically bringing 8 into the box, bringing man coverage behind that. You know, teams have tried it, going single high on us, going, you know, we've had some teams even drop back, try to play a little bit of quarters or cover 2 out of it. And then either they're going to zone behind it or they're bringing nothing but pressure. And I mean, honestly, it's been unstoppable. No one has been able to shut that down. And I'll ask you guys a question. This is crazy. Yo, Reese, you hit something. I made 3 videos on my phone that I didn't publish this week because I wanted time to pull film to demonstrate it. And it's all about RPOs and the evolution of the RPO game and what is happening in Philadelphia. But here's the crazy thing underneath my research, what I found out. I'm going to name 3 quarterbacks. You tell me who you guys think has the most rushing yards. Daniel Jones, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts.
Daniel Jones.
Very good, Mike. It's Daniel Jones. Yeah. Daniel Jones has more rushing yards.
I said that too.
Hurts and Josh Allen.
I said that too. Gold star for me too. Okay.
Gold star for you too. All right, Reese, and you, bro. Right? So, I mean, like, it just goes to show you. I mean, there are a ton of quarterbacks right now, from Marcus Mariota to Geno Smith to, Kyler Murray to Jalen Hurts to Daniel Jones to Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Of all these guys, the only person who's really leading their team in rushing is Lamar Jackson. All the rest of these guys are either second or third on their team in rushing, and that's in large part due to the fact that you have the RPO there. They're making the discretion of whether or not, number one, it's being thrown, number two, if it's being run, and then even on the exchange of a run, what am I reading? Who's getting the ball? The running back or me? So, I mean, it's a lot here, man. In the RPO game, I think it's important to point out that the rules caught up to it. So the rules have allowed this type of thing to happen, right? I mean, listen, let's not lie. I mean, basically, they're they're out there bubble wrapping quarterbacks. I mean, I'm not even too sure what is a penalty and what is a sack anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't do that for they don't do that. But they don't really do that for running quarterbacks as much.
When they leave the pocket, you're right. Especially when they give up.
Yeah.
When they give up on the play and out of the pocket, they're not calling things that should be called.
But it's just not, to me. Like you said, the evolution. It's not just run pass option anymore. It's run pass option. It's like you have so many different options now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tight end in the screen, fly route. You can run the ball yourself. You can just give it to the running back and have him run it, all by reading 2 players. He's really reading 2 players. He's reading that inside linebacker that's right there for the RPO, and he's reading the safety,
the defensive end. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what's crazy, Reese, is that coaching caught up. And that's the other thing I don't think anyone considers is we've had dudes that were very capable of running RPO offenses in the past. McNabb could have done it. Culpepper could have done it. Steve McNair could have done it. Vic could have clearly done it.
Vic
definitely did do it to an extent. You know what I mean? Like, we've had it, but I don't think the coaching in terms of building an entire scheme and system around it, I don't think people are going to allocate that kind of time to doing it. I don't think the rules were in place yet to make it feasible. I think things had to come together. And you remember, Reese, man, people came after me because I kept saying, hey, man, a lot of people missing the forest for the trees on this argument about mobility and quarterbacks and saying that if you don't operate from the pocket, you can't win a Super Bowl. Okay, man, I'm just going to say that you can't do something until it happens. And then everybody starts copying it. Like, it's just the way it is.
But the Eagles definitely have perfected it because of who's on the roster. Our guys that once they're in space are deadly. Or is everybody, even Devontae, Quez, who only has 6 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown, it just popped up on the screen. And of course, AJ, Mr. Yak Guy, Dallas Goedert, Mr. Yak Guy. And so when you add that roster with a guy who is as athletic as Jalen Hurts and has learned as much as he did throwing the ball, more accurate and a great decision maker, with the offensive line, we're just the perfect team for the RPO, and we're spinning things off of it. Like almost every touchdown against the Dallas Cowboys, or every big play against the Dallas Cowboys was an RPO.
They faked the tunnel screen. They faked the tunnel screen, bro. All 3 of us called for them to do that. All 3 of us called for that to happen. Like, for the love of God, everyone is queuing in on this. Give them some eye candy. Give them manipulation to back them off of this. Not only they did that, they hit that for 2 scores.
Wait, I remember the Pascal touchdown. Which what?
Pascal, and they got AJ Brown on one too.
Which touchdown for AJ?
It was a real nice one in the corner.
3 of them things. He had 3 of them things, right? I'm just
it was a real nice. I don't know if it was the second or third one, but it was the one that was in the corner, in the front corner.
Okay. So it wasn't.
It's crazy that. They saw it too. So they needed time to go back, really look over the film and say, okay, we got to build something off of this to get teams. Now, you look at this as a defense. You got a quarterback that everyone says can't go through 3 read progressions. And he's starting to show, actually, he's not scared to come down and take a check down. He can do a 3 read progression. But to make matters worse, if you go man coverage on him, he slips your pass rush, and all he sees is the back of jerseys, and he's made it through his first 2 progressions. Man, his ability to take you off the ball is bad. Like, he can hurt you big time. How many times did he break Detroit's defense on 3rd and 15, 3rd and 14, 3rd and 16? Man, as a defense, you're feeling real good about yourself when you got the quarterback moving out of the pocket in that situation, and then you realize it's Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's deflating. It's completely deflating as a defense to have someone be able to just be like, oh, thank you for running 20 yards down the field with my receiver, and all I see is the back of jerseys. I'm going to beat you to that spot.
True that.
And it's hard to defend it. It is incredibly difficult to defend it when it's done right.
And throughout the season, he's been more reluctant to not run the ball via 2 runs against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So now defenses are going to start to adjust and say, on tape, he's staying in the pocket. He's rolling out and he's throwing it. So once you take your eye off him, teams in the future, seeing that he's not running, he's still got it. He just hasn't needed to do it. And it's an incredible thing to have, especially when everything else is coming together. Real quick, Young Money with the $2 super chat, he said, does it seem like Hurts doesn't pump fake much? I don't think many quarterbacks pump fake in the league is like that much. For the simple fact that, it really doesn't do nothing unless you got a defensive player in your face. You're trying to do something, but like pumping ain't going to throw off the safety. You still can do that with your eyes and your head. However, the play to AJ Brown against the Steelers was a built-in pump fake / look / fake screen. When I think it was a second touchdown. The second touchdown.
The second one to AJ Brown. Yeah, I think it was the second one,
hikes the ball, looks to the side, pumps like he's gonna go to Devontae, and then throws the dime in the bucket to one AJ Brown.
Yeah, and it's crazy about that whole system and the way they're doing it, Mike, is like when you look at a pump fake, it is smart to move the safety. Like, I'm not saying that don't do it. You want to move the safety. You want to manipulate the secondary if you can. But I will say that I think pump fakes work better when you're looking at a zone and somebody is in the window you want to throw into, and you're trying to move them off, either by your eyes or by your arm. You're trying to move them out of that spot. But I will say it can disrupt the timing of a play, though, too. So you got to be careful with it.
Correct.
It's got to be very selective of when you use it.
Yeah, real quick, shout out to Lil with the $2 super chat. He said, Hurts makes us 3-dimensional, and I love it. Well, you know what I really love is that he just threw it out there. Like, he's gaining more confidence in his all-around ability. When they were asked about, specifically, you only ran the ball 2 times against the Steelers. How is that? Is that because of you're working on your throwing and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, listen, I don't like to just categorize one thing. I look at myself as a triple threat. His legs, being able to make plays with his arms, and the noggin, the good old brain, the mind. And he's been a lot better pre-snap, post-snap. If you look at this season in its totality, one thing that if I had to be a critic of Jalen Hurts and this offense, not only on Jalen Hurts, was the blitz. Getting right checks, hot reads, this, that, in the third. Dallas, made us go some 3-and-outs because of it. Arizona in the second half made us go some 3-and-outs. Detroit, we dealt with that through Jalen's legs. However, I think that nice bye week, we put some stuff in there because we were cooking, I repeat, cooking the Steelers blitz last week. And so that was the little things I wanted to see this offense get better at, not just Jalen, but also Nick putting checks in there. And I think we did a better job of that versus the Steelers. Now it's the Steelers. I mean, I don't think their defense is bad. They just held the Dolphins at 16 the week before. But I like that the little things that I can even harp about, we're starting to see being corrected. So, hey, I'm ready to see what goes on. We got to get to our offensive, defensive players. Hurts is taking a picture with his family right now.
Do you feel
Mama
settled?
Hurts.
Do you feel settled with that though yet? In terms of do you feel settled yet in terms of our ability to beat pressure?
Not yet. I mean, it was the one game.
That's the one thing. Like, I don't think we're going to get pressed this game. I don't think this is the game to really press us into that. But I want to see them against a high pressure defense and see what they do to combat it. Like, I think it was important for them to hit those deep shots to Quez, to hit the deep shot to AJ, because now it does make that little tunnel game very dangerous. That tunnel screen becomes a lot more dangerous.
Real quick, shout out to Jose Serrano, and then we're gonna go with our offensive player, defensive player, and score prediction. Chat start letting us slow. It's 7:45. The game is at 8:20, so we want to get off here a little bit, so I can make sure my prime looks good now, but it keeps doing something weird. So I gotta make sure that's good. Jose said Eagles 8-0 before the half. We're gonna have that locked up before the half. A body bag. He said we're gonna get Jose. Phillies win game 5. Let's go. Phillies stand up. We need that. We need that.
Yeah, especially after what the hell happened last night.
Bruh.
Yeah, no hitter.
Only the Phillies could tie a record for home runs in a game in the postseason and turn around and get no.
Again, like what?
Like what?
Like what? Mr. John and Mr. Heckle for real, man. That's crazy.
All right, but go ahead, Fresh. You can start us up. Offense, defense, and score prediction.
Offense, I ain't gonna play with it. I'm going straight to my boy Miles Sanders. I think he runs all over these dudes, and there's nothing that they can do about it with the offensive line of Jason Kelsey getting to the second level. You got Lane Johnson, Landry Dickinson, who is just still a bully. And then you got to also be aware that Jalen Hurts is even though he only ran 10 yards last week. You know what I mean? But he's still a threat to run. And with the RPO that we was just talking about, Miles Sanders has been taking a fully advantage of it. You know what I mean? Defense. A guy that nobody picked last week. I thought one of us would, but we didn't. I'm gonna go with CJ Gardner again, man. Drew's just a ball hawk. He just really is. Like he's always around the ball. He's always if something is going on, you can look left or look at right or look just straight ahead, and CJ Gardner is somewhere in the mix of that what's going on with that ball on the floor and why it's on the ground. So I got to go with CJ Gardner. My score, man. Listen, I kind of had it close. What I say last week, I said like 33-12 or something like that. I'm gonna go with another 30 burger, man. And because it's prime time, I think these dudes put up 38. I'm gonna go 38-14.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead, Gabe. If you want to go, it's up to you.
All right, I'm gonna go Devontae Smith, man. It just seems cyclical the way they're rotating these guys. So it's either got to be Goddard got beat up a little bit in the last game, so I feel pretty good in the Devontae Smith prediction. Watch Goddard go off for 100 yards and 3 scores on him. I'm gonna say Devontae. I'm gonna call Devontae. I'm gonna say 6 catches over 80 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, I'm gonna keep doing it until he gives me my interception, bro. Marcus Epps, give me my interception, bro. Give me my interception, Marcus Epps. I want my interception, bro. I thought I had it last week. Went right to his hands. I need my interception, Marcus. Score. All right, I know, Mike, because you ain't gonna let me get off here before I say the score. Look, I hate predicting blowouts. I do. I'm not a big fan of blowouts, and I know I went for – I dang near got the blowout I said. I think I said like 38-13, so I almost got it. But I'm going to say tonight – and I hate to do this, bro, because 41 – and I'm going to say 41-10.
Yeah, I have to – I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that at all. I'll go defensive player first. They're showing big play Slade walkout, talking to Richard Sherman. Everybody's talking about Jalen Hurts coming back to his hometown. This is where big play Slay lives too. He got his family out here. I got big play Slay with a pick, tying CJ Gardner-Johnson with a 4-piece, 2 4-pieces for the Philadelphia Eagles. When I look on the offensive side of the ball, you know, AJ I think he's about to be on a continue. I think this is gonna continue. I think it's going to continue. So I'm gonna go AJ Brown. He's gonna have back-to-back decent games. I think the passing game is going to be more spread out, but I think AJ has one of them plays where we're like, there he is, swole Batman. And then I'm going to go score prediction. I was close to saying 42, but I think it's a short week. I think when we get up big, we're still going to score via the run, but this game is going to be simulated quicker because it's going to be the clock ain't going to stop a lot. We're going to have a big run after big run after big run. I can't go Sanders because he picked them. So that's why I went AJ Brown. But with the run game being as lethal it is, I'm going to say 33 to 13. You know, they might get a touchdown. I think it's like a 33-6 type game. 33-6 type game. And then when we don't care, Jonathan Gannon says, fall back, and they get one of these, a minute and 42 down to 57 seconds touchdown, and then we just need out. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
I'm only projecting the 40 points, Mike, because of a certain conversation that occurred on Twitter with a certain fan base. I know you know what I'm talking about too.
There you go. But look, I ain't mad. Listen, I mean, we could have easily put a 40 burger up on the Steelers if we didn't pull guys, but you see that this coaching staff is willing to do that. And we would have put a 40 burger up. So,
when you got a 3-possession game, I mean, what point are you trying to make? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, there's a certain organization that likes to try to take away moral victories like that for some weird reason. But yeah.
For sure. With that being said, shout out to everybody who's in here. We have 411 people watching. Again, we are live on 3 channels: the Philly Talk Podcast, Gate City Sports Channel, and Philly Freshest Channel. Make sure you go support. Hit the like button on wherever you're watching it. Subscribe to everybody because we all drop content throughout the week. Shout out to everybody in the chat, keeping it a buck. Hit the like. I will be live for this weird Prime Video Thursday night body bag game. I'll be live in about 10 minutes if you want to come through. You got any closing words real quick before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, I see talking about it's going to hurt us when we finally see good teams in the playoffs. I mean, what good team you seen in the playoffs, my guy? Because you guys aren't good if you're talking about Dallas. Minnesota already got stomped. I mean, I don't know what good team you think's out there, but maybe in the Super Bowl.
That's when we gonna see a good team, right?
Yeah.
Fresh?
Hey man, listen, you got about what time is you got about 25 minutes. I will be cut the comments off, man. Free giveaway, man. Get your fully fresh and yo that hoodie, man. All you gotta do is go answer the question. My last video I put out yesterday, and I will be cutting the comments off at 8:20, so don't try to cheat.
All right, with that being said, we will be dropping content throughout the week talking about this franchise setting 8-0. I'll be live in 10 minutes. Until next time, y'all know what time it is. Dallas stinks. Eagles rock. We out. Peace.